Jacqueline has asked Paolo to find out what lies buried in the written records. While some parts of the story provide answers, there are still many mysteries surrounding the Sleeping Beauty. At each of her 3 exhumations, all reports declared that her body was in a perfect state of preservation. The hands which were crossed on her breast were perfectly preserved. There was no smell of putrefaction. Doctors concluded that the body of Bernadette was intact. Her perfect hands held a rosary which had become rusty, and the crucifix which lay upon her breast was coated with verdigris. If the crucifix she was holding was covered in verdigris, air and moisture had certainly entered the coffin. Why then did her body not decompose? Saint Bernadette's beauty connects millions of believers with their faith. Her appearance of perfection is seen as miraculous, although scientists have their own ideas.
I think that there has been some form of wax restoration. It probably would have had to have been a casting or an extremely talented sculptor.
Is what we see today in Nevers the actual skin of Bernadette, or a wax casting? A casting is not necessarily an artistic interpretation, but an exact replica, complete with the finest of wrinkles and skin textures.
I think that what is visible of St. Bernadette now is probably cast wax, in other words, a death mask.
As Paolo looks deeper into the archives, he finds a particularly intriguing passage. One that explains that an imprint of the saint's face was made at her 3rd exhumation, and that a light wax mask based on these imprints was created. It appears as though Jackie is correct. Although the secret to her youthful complexion may be unveiled, there are still elements of Saint Bernadette's incorruptibility that will forever remain a secret. Most astonishing of all, a doctor present at the 3rd exhumation reported that Saint Bernadette's skeleton was in a perfect state of preservation and that her muscles were supple and firm. The liver was soft and was astonishingly almost normal in consistency. He remarked that this did not seem to be a natural phenomenon. For this there appears to be no scientific explanation. It is perfectly conceivable that the faithful would view this incredible preservation as a holy miracle. There appears to be no scientific explanation. When science doesn't have the answers, it seems that faith steps in. Does Saint Bernadette hold secrets we do not know? And has her body defied some of the laws of natural science?
The latest leak of the U.S. government secrets. This time, they are the informants.
There is such an enormous amount of information. There will be criticism.
Not just for the sake of being something, but for the sake of doing something.
Can we stop this for 1 second?
And exclusive access to the never-before-seen stories. Inside U.S. Revealed, brand new, Sunday, January 16th on Nat Geo.
For the first time in Asia, Fox brings you the newest season, NCIS 8.
A federal agent, Washington, D.C. I don't want your death, I want your life. We have to get him back.
TV's #1 drama, NCIS 8, premiere February 5th, Saturday at 8:50 p.m. on Fox.
On Nat Geo Wild this new year, try not to. Freak events mystify even the best biologists. Brand new cases of Predator CSI. We dare you to come face to face with the bizarre.
That thing scares me!
Wild freaks, snakes, and crocs. Get up close with the stars of this month's Animal Paparazzi. It's a freak show this January on Nat Geo Wild.
There's never been an inmate that ever got out.
It just can't happen.
Never say never, because even the most complex escapes have hinged on surprisingly simple tools.
Everything you get in prison can be used in some way to help you escape.
Not even the most sophisticated prison was able to hold them. Anything is possible when you've got nothing to make it. Monday at 10 on Nat Geo.
Paolo's investigations into the phenomenon of the incorruptibles are almost over. Based on his meeting with Professor Fulcheri, Paolo believes many of the incorruptibles are in fact natural mummies. This would certainly seem to be the case with Don Orioni, the priest who was exhumed after more than 2 decades and was perfectly intact. The excellent condition of Beata Margherita's corpse after 500 years is extremely difficult to explain. It is not difficult to understand why believers see her incorruptibility as miraculous. Saint Zita also appears to be a case of natural mummification, although there are certain factors that are difficult to explain. Her body is over 700 years old. It appears as though she had not been embalmed or restored in any way. No trace of any embalming agent could be found after extensive scientific testing. And then there is Saint Bernadette, who connects believers with faith itself. Saint Bernadette was found to be incorrupt. Her well-preserved features were covered with a thin layer of wax, but many elements of her incorruptibility cannot be explained. At her third exhumation, her body, especially her skeleton, muscles and liver, were found to be in a perfect state of preservation, an inexplicable phenomenon. It is estimated that there are dozens of incorruptibles. They attract pilgrims from around the world. The faithful, who are inspired and comforted by the stories of their lives and now find peace in their presence after death.
For the believers to have the place that they can go and the place that they can have this connection with someone that means so much in their faith tradition could mean everything to them.
In recent years, the Church has welcomed the world of science into the realm of the saints and is eager to preserve these bodies that mean so much. Many questions have been answered, but science does not offer solutions to all the mysteries.
Some of the conclusions we may draw, they are just maybes. There are aspects of the incorruptibles that are simply inexplicable.
The incorruptibles are ancient and revered. They bring hope. Their physical state inspires myth, legend, and spiritual belief. The incorruptibles are silent witness to a world where faith and science are the guardians of the altars of Europe.